Hello, my name is Darren Taylor, and I'm from Little Rock, Arkansas. I'm 49 years old and I work as an executive. I'm going to share some information with you about my personal story, and if you know anybody who suffers from any type of coronary artery disease, arterial stenosis, or basically what we would AKA call blockage, plaque buildup, you're going to definitely want to be able to hear the story I'm going to share with you about my own personal journey with health. Now, to give you a bit of background, I've actually worked in the health and wellness industry now for about 17 years. I've owned multiple health and wellness clinics. I've also owned a very large national marketing company that works with other doctors and practices, helping them with holistic type medicine type approaches. But working behind a desk has left me in more of a sedentary lifestyle, as many Americans have. I'm not exactly a person who's had the best, I guess you'd say, lifestyle. I do eat red meat and I don't exercise as I probably should or need to, but nonetheless, it's not like I live a complete sedentary lifestyle. But it doesn't, coronary artery disease is not a respecter of persons. It doesn't matter what type of career you're in, you can be subject to this. And it's something that what I had found out at my younger ages was partially due to genetics. So it can come on for a variety of reasons, but nonetheless, let's talk about what's actually happened to me. So about 6-7 years ago, I started noticing I started having angina. In other words, some type of chest pain, whatever. I went in, had a whole bunch of tests, ran a nuke test on this and that, and basically what they came back with is that I had a bicuspid valve, which lets doesn't let blood flow properly through the heart, but nothing that was going to be a big and alarming thing. Kind of went about my business. And about 18 months ago, I was continuing to have more aggressive type angina. I started noticing the shortness of breath, being very fatigued very easily, and I could tell there was just something that wasn't right. I didn't know what it was, but at first when I went to my primary care doctor, I had like what I would consider like an acid reflux or a GERD type situation, so they started me on some type of a sulfate drug basically to help with the acid reflux. After several months of doing that, the problem wasn't going away. The angina was starting to get worse. I started noticing some of the pain and tingling radiating down my arm, and I had a pretty good idea that I was in trouble. And so at that time I was only 48 years old, 48 years young, as we like to say it. So I went to the doctor, and my primary care doctor at that time said, "I want to send you to the cardiologist." My first reaction is, I don't have a heart problem. I mean, number one, I'm too young. And I'm fairly, good health, haven't had any major problems, so I just couldn't imagine that what it was. Well, long story short, after running a whole gamut of tests and me canceling the test several times, I finally, with the pressure of my family, relented and decided to go ahead and have a heart cath done on June 3rd of 2016. When I woke from the heart cath, I was shocked. I found out that I had 5 blockages in my heart. I had one that was 100% blocked. I had a 90, an 80, a 70, and a 50% blockage. And basically, the long story short is the doctor explained to me that they put 3 stents in. They had me under as long as they could. They had to bring me out because of the dye was starting to affect my kidney. I was starting to have kidney failure. And so they brought me out after putting in 3 stents. One they were not going to do because it's 100% blocked anyway. And they told me, we're going to let you recover here in the hospital a couple days, and we're going to send you back home. So after the first procedure, they explained to me too that if I had not have had the stents put in what they call the widowmaker, that I would not have seen my 50th birthday. Let me tell you something, that is sobering. It's very sobering, especially I have a wife, a family, and several kids to take care of. So that was a real moment. So long story short, I was in the hospital. I had a procedure on a Friday. Was in the hospital through the weekend. Went out on Sunday. Monday I started to have real bad angina again. Was back in the emergency room. The doctor came by and said, "Let me see you in my office on Wednesday." Went to the office on Wednesday. He said, "We're putting you back in for another stent to unblock the other blockage on the Friday." So 3rd, I had a procedure. A week later, I'm back in the hospital and having another stent put in. So I had 4 stents put in and 2 heart caths done, in just days of each other. Long story short, they started putting me obviously on quite a few different types of drugs. So I'm taking like a valsartan type product. I'm taking a metoprolol for blood pressure. So I've got cholesterol medicine. So I'm taking a whole regimen of pills I'm taking 2 times a day in order to be able to bring my blood pressure down, control my pulse rate, and basically keep me from having a stroke by keeping my blood thin. All of that sounds fantastic, and I'd like to tell you that was the end of the story, but unfortunately it wasn't. I continued to have problems. The angina was not going away, and they pretty much decided that they needed to do another heart cath in order to determine how extensive the blockage was and make sure that my stents weren't failing. There was a fear that my stents were actually failing. So back in the hospital I go again. This time I went to the heart hospital here in Little Rock and had one of these specialists here look me over and determined that my stents were not failing, that they were still fine, but the blockage they felt was potentially contributing to the symptoms I'm having, but my heart had already started to reroute. I've had this one blockage now since I was in my early 30s, and that's scary. I was considerably healthier in my early 30s, as most of us are. I thought I was 10 foot tall and bulletproof, and so I had no idea that I was already starting to develop blockage at that early age. Long story short on that, they scheduled me for what was called a CTO procedure, a complete total occlusion procedure, where they went bilaterally through both sides of the groin, went in with tubes, and then tried to unblock me in January. Tried to unblock me in January of 2017. And I would love to tell you that that's the end of the story. But unfortunately, even though they said it was about a 7% chance of success, it was a failure. And I was not unblocked, and I'm not unblocked today. The angina actually continued, and so they decided that I need to have a follow-up visit with my cardiologist, and I followed up with the cardiologist to basically discuss the opportunity to go back in and have this done yet again. Now remember, if you're doing the count on this, I've already had 4 stents put in on 2 different procedures back in June of last year, and I've now had another heart cath this year, and I've had a CTO procedure. So they've actually been in my heart 4 times in about a 6-7 month period of time. You know, and those procedures are scary because you never know, there could be complications, even as simple as they potentially are. So I was concerned, to say the best. So after I met with my cardiologist, I had a friend of mine on Facebook who had messaged me a couple times. We've done business together over the years. I've known him a long time. His name is Dr. Jimmy Sandberg. And Jim actually has suggested to me that I try a product called Pro Arginine Plus. And, you know, I got to be honest, when he first mentioned this to me, I'm like, and he had told me about this about 5 years or so ago, and I actually had bought some product one time, but never really took it, to be quite honest. I thought, well, okay, Jim, you know, I mean, great, you know, I appreciate your advice, but, you know, look, they've got me going to 2 heart specialists, 1 surgeon, my primary care doctor. I mean, I've been all around town, and they've got me on all these medicines, and I'm still having the problem. How is this going to ever even help me? And to my shock and amazement, I started taking Pro Arginine Plus. My blood pressure, I dropped 50 points, you know, within the first 7 to 10 days. I started dropping points. Within, like I say, within a month, I'm down between 50 and 70 points overall. My blood pressure is now perfect. And I just had lab work done on Monday. This is actually, what day is today? It's Wednesday. They called me yesterday with the results. My lab work is spot on. And best part about it all is the angina is gone. I don't have the pressure I've been having. It's the first time I've not had pressure in my chest in, let's see, well, at least 18 months for sure, and maybe even longer than that. So am I completely out of the woodwork? You know, no, not yet. But as far as my quality of life, my energy levels are up. My ability to be able to breathe is considerably better. I'm resting better, and the pressure of feeling like I've got somebody sitting on my chest all the time is gone. The numbness and tingling in my hand is gone. I'm hoping and praying that this continues throughout, but I see no reason for it not to. As I've watched from different doctors, and they've reported my blood pressure coming down and numbers, so I'm scientifically being treated, and it's being noted that I'm improving, as well as the way I feel is improving. To me, that's 2 thumbs up. And so if you're interested in learning more about the Synergy product and how it works and how nitrous oxygen actually is, I don't even know all the details. What I can tell you is this. If you're interested in learning more about it, get a hold of me, send me a message back, and let me put you in contact with my buddy Jimmy, and let Jimmy explain this all to you, because he starts talking, he's like 3 pay grades above my head. But the bottom line is, at the end of the day, is a lot of Americans are falling over and dying every day. I can tell you the first thing you do is make sure you get to your heart specialist. Don't be a chicken. Get in there and get a heart cath if you need to find out if you're blocked, and find out all the benefits what this Synergy product can offer you, because there's a great chance that not only can this help you prevent potentially having coronary artery disease, but it potentially can help you improve the quality of life that you may already have. And improving that quality of life as you get a little older, you're going to find out the value of that, and that is paramountly important. And it doesn't matter your age, it doesn't matter your race, it doesn't matter what you do. You can't control all of this to a T, and I've known some very healthy people that have fallen over dead from a heart attack. So if you're interested, no pressure. I can tell you it works for me, and there's a 100% money back guarantee on the product, and I am absolutely loving it. So give me a call and let me know, and I'll be glad to help you out. If you need to get a hold of me, you can contact me at one of my business offices, 866-949-2112, 866-949-2112. Just ask for me, Darren, or some of my staff will be able to route the call to me. But if not, I'm going to put you in touch with Jimmy and let him hook you up with probably the best coronary secret that's in the industry right now. And man, I don't know how it works, but it surely is doing it. Talk to you soon. Take care. Have a great day.